Hey now, Steve Stevens for Bionic Buzz. We're here at Art's Radio Dream Launch 10th anniversary here at Steve Resnik's Rock and Roll Mansion. The event features many icons in the radio and record industry, so let's go see who we can talk to. So here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passion. Tell us where your passion for music came from and wanted you to get you in the industry.
I was teaching at St. John the Divine in Annapolis.
Annapolis?
And,
That's where I grew up.
I'm lying. I know you are. Your mother, Kathleen, told me all that, so that's fine.
Yeah.
That's the Elvis Presley would be my biggest influence immediately, but before I was passionate, is listening to country music when I was 11 years old, or all that stuff, or Frank Sinatra when I was 8 years old, because music was big, it still is. And I got into the record business because I knew some guys in the record business, and I was a disc jockey on the weekends while I had a regular job running a nightclub.
Okay.
But
Where was this at? What city?
This is in Cincinnati,
okay.
Ohio, and the radio station was in Covington, Kentucky. And anyway, so when they had the riots there in '68, I was on a radio station in Cincinnati, country station, and I took a cab to the radio station to do my shift. And while I was doing that, of course, I was carrying an automatic pistol that I got from the Vice Squad because it was very dangerous in those days, because it was a riot. And for about 3 days, it was a riot across the country and so on. But I just always liked music, and I got to do a lot with music. David Bowie, Elvis Presley, the Beatles when I was at Capitol, Grand Funk Railroad, all those kinds of stuff, because you're right there at the seminal time of their careers. So I got to work when I say work, what we did was take the radio stations, take the music to the radio stations to get it played. You couldn't always get it played because there were so many records ahead of you. Everybody, every week 200 or 300 records would be made, singles sent to radio stations, and they had to pick one or two. But that's the fun. All these people that you met today all had starts in radio. They've all been influential in playing music to build careers and so on. You've seen record company presidents here and promotion VPs that signed artists, broke artists, that stuff. In Cleveland, the company I worked for at Capitol, we broke an artist called Anne Murray with the record Snowbird. And what that means is, in those days, to break a record, you have to get it played on a major top 40 radio station first. So we built our reputations on how many records we could get played and how successful we were at doing that, because that's our job.
Was there an art to getting a thing played? Was it just the music spoke for itself, or did you have to know the people's names at each station?
Yeah. The art in doing that is that you never hear the word no. You don't go to work till they say no. But again, you couldn't just walk in with a record and get it played. You had to give them a valid reason, because it is about the money. Because if you play a poor record on the radio station, people will tune out, leave the station, and that means you'll lose advertisers in your audience. Like Joey Reynolds said a little while ago about you can make good records big.
Yes.
And so on. And that's what, there's an art to it, yes, but it's just another skill that you can't go to school to learn. And my skill was picked up on, street smarts, radio smarts. I knew what the radio station needed. And in shifts, for instance, you have a morning shift, a night shift, an all-night shift. You try and bring them records for those shifts, because in what they call a day part, that's the part of the day, like in the morning after 9 o'clock until 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, we call that housewife time.
Yeah.
And so you wanted to play romantic ballads and stuff like that, as opposed to heavy metal at night after 7 o'clock when all of the kids are listening. And they play that music, they play that funky music, so that their families the parents don't have to listen to it. And that's the way we got our parents to tune out for what we were doing when we were seeking privacy. And I think people still do that today, you know? And
now we get to do it on the internet.
I just made a reference to play that funky music, White Boy, which is Wild Cherry. The guy who signed that group to Epic Records is standing about 5 feet away from me.
Yeah, we interviewed him earlier.
Ron Alexenburg,
Yes.
you introduced him. And if I could get him to come up here, then we could go and do all kinds of talk.
Would you like to,
Wanna do-
want
Come
to
on
come
up here
on
and
camera
talk, you
real
know.
quick?
We could talk about
Yes.
the records.
Yes.
One of the
Here,
things,
we'll
one of
We'll
the
share
things,
this. I'll hold this microphone.
one of the
for you.
things that Stephen asked was it an art to getting a record played? And I said, of course, no. We never hear that word. And then you have to be able to lie realistically. You know, be sincere, because the first thing a DJ is going to ask you is it a hit?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a question that was asked frequently. You're never going to be able to go in there and say, oh, I don't know. I'm waiting for your opinion. Because if it was their opinion, oh, no,
You're
Susie,
dead.
I don't need this.
You've got to take control, and you have to do it with a velvet glove.
Well, the biggest argument on that, play that funky music, white boy.
Yeah.
That was the expression on that.
By a group by Wild Cherry.
Wild Church. Oh, yeah. It's out of Cleveland. And it was very controversial. And
It was. You know why? There's no cherries in Cleveland. Hello.
oh, you see what I mean about him? And then we had a follow-up called Oh Black Betty.
Oh, blood.
Betty, that was another one. Oh, Black
yeah.
Betty, Bam Lamb, the damn
yeah.
thing went wild.
Yeah, it
and they were
did.
saying to me, who's Black Betty? I said, there is no Black Betty. Somebody wrote those songs.
Oh, you know what? There's no better. You know that record by Steam?
Nah, nah, hey, hey,
Nah,
kiss
yeah.
'em goodbye.
There is no group called
There's
Steam.
no Steam. It was Paul Lecca who
And-
produced it. Yeah.
It's such a big, giant record that they actually had to put a group together so they could go out and do public appearances
Well,
and rake in some new money.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So that's why I said about lying. You got to be able to lie honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
So there's probably some artists that you're probably like, not a big hit, but I'm gonna tell it anyway.
Oh, well, there's all that stuff, but the most of all is who's genuine, who's real. We know. He does. I do. Or we don't really work their records. You know, because like I said, you get 200 records a week out there. You can't go in and ask all of them to be played, so you get to pick the ones you think those people are going to like that radio station. And different kinds of radio. Well, listen, he was a national VP, so that means he was responsible for, I don't know, 2,000 radio stations, rock and roll.
No, at one point I made a statement. There was about 5,000 radio stations, AM and FM, that you could mail a record to. And if they didn't want to play it, they would say, oh, I never got the record.
Speaking of
So then there was a thing called reservice.
Yes?
And we reserviced a record called Time of the Season
Oh.
by the Zombies,
Oh,
maybe 4 times.
that's a very scary record. Now, I'll tell you what was scary about it.
was scary?
If you never really, well, if you never heard that kind of music before in your life, it would scare the shellac off of you. It would just, yeah.
Well, it was true. And I mean, there are people that are here today, like Dave Sholin, that would listen to the lyrics, and some guys would call me. And when they called me, I'm so glad they didn't call me on MacArthur Park.
Oh,
Because we've all heard that so many times. I don't understand, what it could be. But when you have Oh Black Betty, Bam a Lamb, Black Betty Went Wild, I'm going, and the guy, Al Gerwitz, God rest his soul, came into my office and said, it's a hit. I said, if it's a hit, go get it played. He was a promotion man, and he did.
Al Gerwitz, great guy.
And 25 years later, I went last year taking my grandson to his first NFL game, saw the Rams 49ers, and before the game, what are they playing?
They did?
Black Betty. They were playing it out of the speaker system. And they play it at Yankee Stadium all the time as a theme song. Oh, Black Betty.
And that's better
Ram Jam.
better than a pension. If
Yeah.
you wrote that, because that's where the money really is in
Yeah,
music.
publishing.
She said it, publishing. Anyway,
Yes.
thanks.
Very fascinating.
Hey,
Thank you
I'm
so
glad
much.
you're here.
Yeah.
And this is Dandy Don,
Yeah, ice cream guy.
a good
Oh,
ice
that's
cream
it.
guy
After-
and a
after
good
I left
friend.
the record, left the record business to seek my new kind of fortune.
What
And
do
I
you do
went-
nowadays?
Do whatever I want.
Would you like to know what he
None of
does
your
now?
business. None of
I
your
drive him
business.
to restaurants every day. We go to a different restaurant, and he's taught me where to eat in California.
That's
with his wonderful wife, Linda. Congratulations on your 48th wedding anniversary.
43rd, thank you.
43rd. Well, it said 48 on
52.
Facebook.
You're
wife.
52.
I'm 52.
Yeah.
Okay? By the way, this is a mother and a father. They're watching their son work.
Kathleen,
I think that's terrific.
She just retired from St. John's.
I think that, oh, there. You can help him.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Steve, good luck in your career.